I'm not going to start with any easy questions.
What would you do if you couldn't fail?
I was vulnerable in the sense of I was just who I was.
In my journey as an entrepreneur, I really found who I am as a human.
When was I proud of myself today?
The cold exposure, it conditions the inside of our body to literally adapt.
The mycelium, which you can think of as the root system.
Whatever happens in the gut happens in the brain, and whatever happens in the brain happens in the gut.
Finding the grace and the humor.
Absolutely had mentors, absolutely 100% had coaches.
Work at a gratitude practice.
90+% of the decisions that we make today actually stem from fear.
Allow ourselves to have imperfection.
What the hell am I doing? Can I really do this? Is this really worth it?
A wake-up call to me that I could not try to be something I'm not.
For me, it's really inspiring people to step out. And you don't have to step all the way out.
We're getting real deep.
That's what I like. What's your purpose?
Nothing starts without a plan. Nothing ever goes to plan.
If we can bring a practice into our lives that helps us be more vulnerable.
Entrepreneurship, I truly believe, to anybody on this call, is grit.
When people are on the path, they shine.
We so often convert things into flaws as opposed to strengths.
Chaga is actually the most antioxidant rich food on the planet.
Ayahuasca is basically a brew of different plants that grow in the Amazon rainforest.
I'm so thrilled that this content is getting out there, that you guys are promoting bold and vulnerable message and aspirations for people, because I hope that we can all really live that every day.
Hey, this is Jessica.
And Svetlana, and you're listening to the Bold and Vulnerable podcast,
where we aim to inspire others to live authentically through sharing the bold and vulnerable stories of peak performers across a variety of industries. This episode is brought to you by Four Sigmatic. I have been drinking Four Sigmatic products for 3 years, and I'm thrilled that the company has been expanding. My go-to products are the Lion's Mane Coffee, Reishi, Cordyceps, and Chaga Elixirs, and the 10 mushroom blend that I add to my post-workout plant protein smoothies. They also just launched a new protein powder of their own that I am pumped to try. Learn while you shop by heading to foursigmatic.com/bold and vulnerable, or typing your discount code at checkout, all caps, bold and vulnerable.
I am here today with the beautiful Chady Dunmore. Chady or Chady? I always mix it up.
I'll take it both.
Okay.
Really amazing.
I like Chady. It's so pretty.
Aww.
Is it Chady or Chady?
It's Chady.
Chady. I love that too.
Aww.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, guys. So I'm here with Chady, and she's awesome. And I'm going to let her tell you guys a little bit about her bio and her background. And for those of you that don't know or have never heard of her, I'm going to let you take off.
Hi everyone. A little bit about my story is I'm pretty much well known for becoming a bikini champ after weighing 200 pounds. I am a mom. I'm 37 years old, going to be 38 in September, and I am just an women empowerment. I'd like to say coach and fitness coach. I'm just an all about girl team advocate, and I can give you the synopsis of my story, but that's pretty much the snippet of it. I think I know Svetlana because being in the fitness industry, we all kind of connect and somehow on social media. So I'll tell my story really quick because I know that's the gunk of why I'm here. I used to weigh over 200 pounds. I was pregnant at the time, so it wasn't like I had just had my daughter. That was about 206 after I had her. I have always battled a kidney disease growing up. I've always been an athlete, but once you become pregnant and you have all this weight and you can't fight it, you kind of just are stuck with it afterwards. And so for me, I hit rock bottom. That was my moment where I was like, okay, I had postpartum depression. I had a mild case of lupus, thyroids, had all these health issues. I was in a marriage that I was not happy in at the time. And I just was really lost. And I had my aha moment where I was just like, I need to kind of ground myself and find myself on where I feel happy in the most. And for me, as much as I hate working out, I actually love it. It's weird to say that out loud because I really don't like working out because you want to sweat, right? Yeah. So it's I really like
hair too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like sitting down getting your nails done, right? It's just like I have to sit there. But for me, working out, I say I love it now because I love how it makes me feel. So it's like people who make millions, right? They're like, I love going to work. I love my job because you like making money, right?
Yeah.
You really like it. So for me, working out, it's kind of like my meditation. And when I've always been an athlete growing up, martial arts, cheerleading, and so on. And so when I started working out after I had my daughter because I wanted to lose the weight, it was like, it felt like me again.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to explain, but I think a lot of moms can kind of understand that when you're like, there's no kid around and it's just about you and kind of just completing the set or workout, it just kind of falls down to you. And so for me, every time I went to the gym, it was like just me. And I just I kind of felt like in control.
Yeah.
And it was the only thing I was in control of at the time. Mm-hmm. Because as a new mom, you have no control of what your day looks like. You have no control of what your marriage looks like. You have no control of the weather. You have no control of a lot of things in life. And so for me, I was in control of what I put in my mouth and what I put in my my body and how I was treating it. And so for me, I really wanted to not only feel healthy and look healthy, I really wanted to just be a good role model to my daughter. And what I saw in the mirror was not what I wanted to be. And it has nothing to do with vanity. I mean, obviously I wanted to fit in clothes, my old clothes, but I just was not healthy. I overeat a lot. And I had fun doing it, but it was time to get back into who I was and actually being healthy. And so at that time, I started working out at home because I was so embarrassed to go to the gym. Nothing fit me. I had none of the clothes. I wasn't going to buy like workout clothes, like extra large at the time because, I mean, you're going to be losing weight. And by the time I was like, I'm just going to put big t-shirts on. Started working at home, doing like videos, had a trainer come to my house a couple times, doing spinning, lifting weights. And then I started losing weight. And within 4 months, I lost 60 pounds because of consistency of like just eating really good and working out. And I remember even family members coming to the house and being like, "You get some surgery done?" And I'm like, "No, I just, and I wasn't breastfeeding at the time. I was just really like, I was like a robot." And I think a lot of it had to contribute to my postpartum depression. But I was so laser focused. I had a vision board and I did like the Mr. Potato Head where I took my face and added the body parts on what I wanted. But around it, I had pictures of like my baby and what I wanted to accomplish. Oprah Winfrey and Kelly Ripa and Brooke Burke. And these are like all the women I admire because they're moms. But at the time they were like, one was a host. Oprah Winfrey is like obviously a TV spokesmodel, but she's so much more than just a host. Brooke was a swimsuit model that traveled all over the world. And so I was like, okay. And I had other stuff and many other people and beautiful house and marriage, all that stuff. And then I would look at that every day and it was by my toothbrush.
Wow.
And so every morning, besides the really empowering words that I had next to it, like, girl boss and so on, I woke up and saw that. And that was my reminder of why I'm doing this. And so because I think every day, especially being a new mom and just in everyday life, you don't have to be a mom. We forget what our purpose is because we have a job and we have our daily routine and so on. And so for me, that was my goal, my vision. And so I would look at it, and obviously it was to lose weight and the awesome ripped arms and the abs and so on. And so I looked at that every single morning. And so when I was sore, I saw that. So when I wanted to come with an excuse, I saw that too. And then I would look at that and then I would look at myself in the mirror and I was just like, yep, not even close. Keep on going. And I did that for 4 months and I lost a lot of weight. And then I was able to fit into decent workout clothes. I looked good.
Yeah.
Started going to the gym. And that's where it hit, where I saw someone with some really muscular arms. And I was like, wow, I think I want to do a bodybuilding show. Decided to compete at a bodybuilding show, lost miserably. for so many reasons. That's another story. Great story too, by the way. And it kind of hit me where I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like seeing these women on stage, because first of all, it's so intimidating to be in a bikini. Like I'm a bikini champ now, and I still like am insecure about wearing a bikini. I like one pieces just because I feel like people look at you even more when you're in a bikini because you're a bikini.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like my biggest fear, because I thought I would never be able to wear a 2-piece bikini. I remember going to a plastic surgeon after I had my daughter, and I said, I need it. This is what I need. Like I nip tuck and whatever. And he looked at me and he's like, I can sit here and tell you I can do the surgery, but honestly, you just, with your body and what you used to look like and what you've gained, he's like, you just need to work out. And I was like,
awesome.
So awesome. But I was so pissed at the time, because I was like, that's not what I want to hear. Like, I want you to tell me when's my next surgery day, because I was so insecure and so unhappy. And I thought in my mind, that's what you need to do. Right? Crazy. Yeah. But I didn't. And so I was offended and I was pissed off, and I couldn't work out after that. Did
you thank him after?
No, I never did, but I'm sure I probably should. I should probably find him. Hey, remember like X amount of years ago? Look at me on a cover. Get excited. I did it all by myself. I should find him. No, that's going to be my to-do list now. So I started going to the gym, and I said I wanted to do a bodybuilding show, lost miserably. And then I went backstage. I went to the audience to see the top 10 girls. And I was like, what did they do that I didn't do? I thought I looked the part, and it's so much like, I mean, there's stage presence, there's posing, there's tan. Anybody who knows the bikini bodybuilding world knows that there's so much more than just looking amazing. And I did not do my homework apparently. And I think I got like second to last. It was so bad. So bad. But it was a learning experience. And then, so I saw these girls and I was like, I could do that. And so I went home, and everybody's at the gym knows about my transformation and so on. I saw that I was competing. They're like, oh my God, how'd you do? I'm like, I lost miserably. Like, it's like if I won, I was saying it, but I was like, because in my mind, I already have pictured me winning.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, you did? Like, you lost? Like, why are you telling us this? And I'm like, because I know now what I need to do.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, well, let's go with your next show. And then I saw the coach, one of the trainers at the gym. He's just like, he's never worked with anybody in the bikini world, but he's a great trainer. And so he's like, okay, what are we doing next? And I'm like, okay, now I need to know, do this, and this is going to be our next show. And it kind of pitifuled me to entering, lost more shows. I got higher in placing. Forgot to mention that. But I got higher in placing. And then one show I got second place.
Oh, wow.
Girl, that was like me winning. Because I was like, yeah, I mean, it's like basically like you won, but they chose the other girl. Because I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm like, because I don't know.
It's subjective.
It's very subjective. And so I got second place, and I'll never forget it. It was a contract Costa show in San Francisco.
Oh.
And the girl I beat was amazing, and she's really popular in the fitness industry. And I was just so beyond like awesome. I was like, it was like the carrot dangling, like, all right, Chady, you got this.
Yeah.
So from there, I was just like, I'm going to compete in a national qualifying show, which was in Sacramento. The last show was probably in March, and the following show was in October, November. And I competed at that show, and I won my class, and I won overall. And that qualified me to compete at the Arnold. And so, mind you, when I competed at the Arnold, my coach was like, we can't compete at the Arnold. Just because you win first place doesn't mean you can compete at the Arnold. I'm like, oh, yes, I can. I had like this, like, it was like a running start for me. Like, only you know what you're capable of. No one will ever define that for you. And they could be the most professional person, or they can be like a billionaire. If Svetlana knows, like, I'm going to build Be Bold Activewear, one of the most amazing activewear line beyond Lululemon the capabilities that Lululemon has ever done, or any other line. You only know that, right? Yeah. And that's how billionaires and millionaires and you know, icons are built because they're the only ones who believe in themselves, and that's all they really need. And at that time, I really felt that. And I think that's what made me get to where I was. And I think I'm trying to gravitate to that mindset again. So back to that mindset, I really thought, like, I'm going to compete at the Arnold. And my coaches and everybody was just like, that's the Arnold. The Arnold has 100 in bikini competitors. And these are the best of, you have to win a national qualifying show to even compete at the Arnold.
Wow.
And so I was going to do it. And I was like, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I'm going to lose. Like, it's not like I haven't lost before. Right? And so I went in with that mindset, and I ended up winning my class in overall. I was the first 2010 Arnold bikini champ. And at that time, there was no bikini pros. So I was the first to be invited to compete at the Arnold Pro Show ever. Yeah. And that's like, that's history. And so for me, I'll never forget it. I was and I know somebody has to have it on YouTube somewhere. So when I won the Arnold, I literally did the Running Man on stage. No joke. In heels. Like, I know somebody has to have it on tape. And at the time, my ex-husband did it, but I was so happy. And that pivotal to me getting a cover and a 10-page spread on me. And my career just kind of took off from there. Sponsorships, you know, X amount of covers after that. And work with huge supplement companies, created supplements, just been a spokesmodel and ambassador for a lot of companies. I've actually hosted numerous camps all over the United States. I have been an inspiration to my daughter, which is probably the best thing ever. And I've been just kind of sharing, being transparent with my own journey on life, what we call it, on social media. And I created a website called The Fit Girl. And it's just going from there. Like, I just have so many ideas now. And now it's just trying to get it all organized, right? And just kind of like go back to that blueprint on where I got from point A to Z, right? And that's the vision boards and so on. And so I think that that's something that we all need to be reminded. It takes steps.
So you said something right before that where you said you're trying to get back into that mindset again of how you saw yourself. But has something shifted where you weren't in that mindset, where you kind of a little bit? Yeah,
I mean, for me, you know, I think at the time it was 2000. My daughter.
Hi.
Okay, but it's an interview, baby girl. Like, say hi. Come say hi.
Hi.
And her slime business.
I love it.
Oh my God. So yes, great question. There is a blueprint to success.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways that we stream it through mentors that we have in life, whether if it's Oprah or Tony Robbins to mom to a celebrity. It's a basic blueprint. And I think that we all kind of have to sit back and listen what really works for us. And whenever we accomplish something in our lives, what did we do in order to get that? And so for me, it really was basic stuff, from vision board to a schedule to being really organized and just kind of like just blocking the noise out, being laser focused. And I mean, there's so many other things I can go into, but it really was that. It was just kind of like just setting short-term goals. And I think as we get older and just me, I've accomplished so much, and I forgot that, hey, now that if I'm going to accomplish another goal, because I did take a break, I need to go back to that blueprint. And I think, and more than the blueprint, what's even more important, I think, Svetlana, is that we forget the mindset of when we want something, the mindset we need to have to get there. Right. Yeah. And that is
doubt.
You can't doubt yourself. And fear is like the worst thing ever. And I think that I heard a great podcast today from India Ari, who is a musician. She was talking about how your energy dissipates when you're not going to your calling, and you're not like, so when people wake up and they're like, oh my God, I'm so depressed, I'm so tired, or I'm tired all the time. And I mean, I'm sure there's so many other numerous reasons besides coffee and diet and so on. A lot of it has to do with you pursuing your passion and what you really want to do, whether if it's being a professional dog petter or, you know, becoming a bikini competitor or whatever it may be. It really can be anything. And, you know, I mean, even hearing a interview with Caesar, the dog whisperer, Caesar Chavez.
Yeah.
Is that his last name? I can't remember. I know it's Caesar.
I know
Caesar Milan.
Yeah.
Right? I'm almost
I think so.
him.
I'm so
last name.
horrible.
I'm really bad. Okay. Caesar. Anyways, I heard an interview with him and he is a dog whisperer.
I know. It's crazy.
Right? And he started working in a grooming place because he had just passed the border in Mexico and he had nowhere else to work. And the ladies that were going to welcome him in a home owned a grooming place. And so he just loved animals and he gravitated to them. And that just like, he went and followed his intuition and his calling.
Yeah.
And as crazy as it may sound, like even inventing the pool noodle, like when you think of something so crazy and you really think it's dope, you really need to just pursue that. Yeah. And I think that when you don't and you like, we get tested every day as far as like, it's something's not working, you're not like, you can't do this and so on. Like that is, you know, you just to get you off your path. And I think that I just have to remind myself that I have accomplished so much, but there's so much more for me to accomplish to serve others. And I think my story and my own journeys and even the obstacles and the horrible stuff that I've gone through that I think are failures or kind of mishaps to being embarrassed are kind of something that's part of my story that's going to inspire me or maybe even help millions of other women. Mm-hmm. And I have to remind myself that because as women, we're so hard on ourselves because, you know, because we don't look a certain way or because we are not meeting a certain level of expertise or whatever it may be. I think that it's really important to honor who you are. And I think that that's a reminder that I really have to kind of remind myself that I'm in my own lane, you're in your own lane, and we have different passions. And as long as we honor that and we, you know, stay true to that, I think nothing else really matters. And then everything else, the anxiety falls off and everything that we are like, tense about just kind of dissipates, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm kind of trying to grasp again. I'm trying to remind myself and I post a lot about that too. Yeah. The stuff that I'm inspiring, and maybe I need to say it out loud, but that's the stuff I'm going through. Mm-hmm. You know, I go through it all the time. I've gone through doubt, failure, maybe more than the average person because of the business I'm in. It's about what you look like and it's a lot of pressure. So, so yeah, it's just about sharing and just like being transparent and real.
Yeah. So I have a question. What's your take on now that you're out of that, like, you know, that area of fitness now, IFBB Pro, or I forget the name.
Oh yeah. So you said that. Yeah. Great question. So she asked, how do I feel about not being a part of a federation? Because I don't even want to say IFBB because I was a part of, in fact, I probably competed at every federation. I've competed in IMBA, WBFF, MPC, IFBB, and so on. So that's a lot. Hey there. Just random people walking by. That's my niece. Hi, babe. So, you know, I don't really have any opinion on any federation. I think it's all based on your preference. Yeah. I think that I competed in all those different ones because at the time in my life, I was just like, oh, I did this one. This is a good one. Okay, I'm ready to do this one. So it really wasn't like, I don't have like a blog on which federation is better. I do have my opinion on which one I like that was better. But as far as speaking upon like not being a part of a federation, I think at the time it's not in my life right now. I love the federations I work with. But it's all preference and it's all like what you want to invest in, because they have different audiences, they have different, posing requirements and so on. So yeah, it's all preference.
Is it something you do again?
I always say no, but never say never.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, I've actually dabbled on the thought of like, it would just be a cool like goal to have myself having no expectations just to get ready for a show, because I've learned so much about myself getting ready for a show. Because you just kind of battle with a lot of like your own inner demons. You're like bipolar. You're like, I don't want this. Yes, I do. You don't want that. Yes, you do. It's like a little like, it's just like an angel and a devil you battle, and you learn about yourself as far as like discipline, sticking to a goal, and just not letting outside noise get in. And I think for me, as an athlete growing up my whole life, I think it's helped me transition that into all aspects of my life, as far as being a consistent friend, mother, showing up. Everything is about showing up.
Yeah.
And I think for me, all that is just like, that was my mom who walked by too, super sly. She's all like, I could see.
I saw her a couple of times.
Yeah, she's all like, oh shit. She's all like, oh shit, I'm in the bin. But I can't thank her enough for putting me in so many sports, and like all those times I was rushing and like getting to appointments on time and sticking to those practices when I didn't want to go. And she's like, you have to go. I signed up. I paid for it. And I am so thankful for it, because that's life. And I remember fighting and being so mad, but it just helps me so much more now. And I think it made me become, you know, a great athlete. And I think it had nothing to do with me becoming the best bikini champion. I think it was because I showed up and I just looked happy on stage. And it's like, and it was subjective. It was like a good night, and it could have been anything that night, but it really helped me transition to everything else I've done as far as with my platform. And I think that's important for people to remember. It's about listening and honoring yourself and really just showing up. It's not even about like how long you should work out, right? Because I tell people all the time, they're like, what's the best time to work out? I'm like, what's the best time that you could work out? And they're like, 6. I'm like, that's the best time to work out. Yeah. Because it's, as long as you're doing it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
I love that, showing up. It's such a common theme amongst very successful people. They're like, show up.
Yeah,
Show
it
up
really
and
is.
do the work.
Even if it's like 5 minutes, I tell, even like, you know, I have a client I work with online, and she works for, I'm not going to say, but it's it's a busy job. And she is working like 12 hours a day, 10 to 12 hours a day. And she's like, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to work out. I'm like, if you do, start off with 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. And if that's all you can do throughout the week, that's all you can do. Yeah. But usually that sets off. And she's like, I always do more than 5 to 10 minutes.
Because you're there already.
Because you're already there.
Might as well do like, 30 minutes or an hour.
Exactly. So if you prepare for success, and it's like the worst thing, you hear it all the time. You have to prepare for success, blah, blah, blah. But it's so true, because if you're packing your bag every single day to go to the gym, you're most likely going to go, right? Or if you're wearing like me, like a lot of moms out, we just wear workout clothes all day. We don't work out. But we have no excuse that we can't, because you know what? We don't need a gym. We can straight up do lunges through the house or outside. Yeah. So it's all about the mindset and anything, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question. I want to shift gears really quickly, because this is an important one. You lost a ton of weight. How have you been able to keep it off and just maintain it?
Put a muzzle in my mouth. No, you know, it's. I think once you get there, it's maintenance. I think how I keep it off is just sticking to what it's kind of sticking to like the easy stuff, right? And so when I say that, I'm going to give you my cliff notes on that. Because it can get hard for some people, but I'm going to make it super easy. Coffee with milk. I used to love caramel macchiatos. And I say caramel macchiatos, I'm talking about like, I would tell the person soy milk, so it's super sweet. And then I would tell them extra caramel. Oh. And I'm like, ooh, make it nasty. And they're like, what? I'm like, that means like hella caramel, like all over it. Okay, and that alone is just like, you know how many calories that thing is.
Yeah, that's like what.
And that was just like it's like that was my jam. That was like, I love that. And even like as growing up as a Latin woman in Miami, café con leche is like it's a staple. It's just like milk, coffee, milk, and sugar. That's what everybody has. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of my clients are like, well, I can't cut my coffee. You can put me on a diet, I can't cut my coffee. Or it's like, you put me on a diet, but you can't cut my wine. Put me on a diet, but you can't cut. It's just like, come on. And so when I was getting ready for all these shows, it was, my coach was just like, black coffee, that's all you can have. And I'm like, what? No one does that. No one drinks black coffee. Like, no. He's just like, and so I started weaning myself off. And it was just like this fake sugar. And I know it's bad, but it was like, it's baby steps, guys. It's like, you literally have to like take these steps. And then it's like the fat-free milk. Then it would go to almond milk. And then it was like stevia. And then no milk, stevia. And then it was like black coffee. Mm-hmm. And so that, well, as soon as I was off the diet and after I competed, I was like, oh my God, that's it. I'm done. I can go back to karma. And you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I put it down. I was like, I'm going to stick to black coffee. And so I literally just kept really good habits that I had. And it wasn't like all stuff, like once in a while, I'll definitely have a caramel macchiato. Once in a while, I'll have like my pizza. Once in a while, I'll have my so on and stuff. At the time, it was just really like just saying, it's just choices we make, right? And so, yeah, do you want In-N-Out burger? Do you want the bun or the fries? Mm. And it's just choices again. So you can have it. And again, I always tell people, you can have whatever you want, but the food is always going to be there. Yeah. And so you have to remember that, like, Starbucks ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Moderation. You know? It's in moderation, absolutely. And so for me, it was a choice. And I said, you know what? Do I want the coffee or do I want, eggs and whatever, English muffin or whatever, right? I was like, oh, and I love the toasty crunch bagel. And I was like, I'm going to take that instead. So it's like, it's just picking your poison. And it's the same thing with like when people are doing macros diets and stuff like that, it's all about picking it's like the number of budget you have. We all have a number every day. And so you get to use it wisely. And so I've been able to keep it off and maintain it and build muscle from there by just picking and choosing and making the right decisions as far as what I want to put in my body, and more than anything, how I want to feed my body as far as like working out and keeping the energy level, because you don't want to diet like a competitor for the rest of your life. That's just not healthy. It's not attainable, and so on. So it's all just making choices and knowing and listening to your body more than anything. Because there was times that I remember coaches put me on diets and I'm like, in fact, when I won the Arnold, I had an apple every day. And they were like, listen, any competitor would be like, there's no way. She had fruit every day. Yeah. I had fruit every day. I had an apple every day. I remember on the plane with my coach to the Arnold, I went underneath the bag and I went and grabbed an apple. He's like sitting next to me. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? He's just like, you're eating an apple. We're about to compete at the Arnold in 2 days. I'm like, I know, you told me if I had an emergency, I could eat an apple. And he's just like, but we're competing in 2 days. So when I won the Arnold, I was like, yo, I had an apple every day. He's like, what? I'm like, I did. I'm not even going to lie about it. I just want to tell you, I want to make sure I won first before I told you that. Yeah, because then he would have used that. Oh my God. I'm like, that's right. You didn't win because you had those damn apples every day. I'm like those apples helped me actually. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, I had to train. I needed an apple. Don't take my apples away. Oh man. Oh my God. So, okay, I have a question. Like, what are some of your daily rituals? Like your morning ritual. Do you have rituals? I mean, I feel like every successful person has a ritual. My ritual now is reading my devotion every morning. I started making it last year. It was like before I even go on social media, read emails. Before I even get up from the bed, I grab my phone and I open my devotion and read that. And then it's like a story to kind of help me break down like Bible scriptures and so on. And I kind of convert it to where I'm going in my life and how is that related to me in some sort. And if it doesn't relate to me, I will share it with someone I think it can relate to, because I feel like that's just my purpose. And if it doesn't affect me in any way, I have to continue to pass it on. And so that's my number one ritual. And then just taking the dogs out, girl. You don't want them peeing in the house. After that, and then just, being a mom.
Do you stay off the phone for a certain amount of time before like you get on it or on the internet?
Yeah, I'm trying to implement a lot more of discipline and structure as far as my girlfriend just told me a new app to get. It's called the To-Do List app. And
Are you a list maker?
I love freaking lists.
Oh God.
Love it. Yes, I do.
No, I don't like lists.
I do. And only because I need structure. If not, I'm just like, oh my God, girlfriend, I have so many things to do, but let's go to the gym. Let's work out. Like, it's just like, it's bad. It's bad. So, when you're like, it's like that meme when you're like, you have so much to do and it's like Oprah Winfrey in the bathtub. Just like drinking champagne, like she accomplished everything. And it's just like one thing. That's me. It's just that. So yes, I am trying to write lists more, schedule myself more, and just trying to stick to that because it works for me.
What are some of your favorite books that you're reading right now or podcasts that you're listening to?
Soul Session with Oprah. It's like every single one. I'm just like, oh, Oprah.
I love her.
Yeah, I love Shailene Johnson. My girlfriend Lori Harder has a great podcast, and her husband Chris Harder for the Love Money is a great podcast. And as far as like books, I really
or audiobooks. Doesn't even have to be like a one that you're reading.
Well, there's just one that I read all the time, and it's called The 5 Love Languages. It's like everyone's read it, but I love it because you can really implement that with all areas, not just in relationships, with just any type of relationship you have with friends, kids, your dogs.
Yeah.
And I just really love that book because we all have different love languages. And I think for me, it just really hits the core of like how,
what's yours? What's your love language?
My love language is quality time. And acts of services.
Me too.
Acts of services, quality time. And then I would say gifts. They're not my fancy gifts, but I mean little things that are like, oh my God, I saw this keychain, it made me think of you, or I bought the smoothie for you while while you're working. It's little things like that. And I guess I suppose that integrates with acts of services. But yeah, words of affirmation don't do anything for me. And it's funny because of me being in this industry. I think I do well because I'm okay with being told I'm amazing and then not get it to my head. And I'm great with someone telling me I suck and not letting it get to my head, because they don't affect me in any way. And I don't know if that relates to how I grew up, but my mom really didn't say I love you until I got older. But it's not because she didn't love us. It's just because she's
a cultural thing, right?
I'm not sure. She just she's all about actions, and my mom always showed us how she loves us by acts of services. And so for me, that's how I need to be told I love you. Do something for me. Yeah. So I don't need to be told, oh my God, you're beautiful. I don't need any of that. That doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but it's definitely active services and quality time, because time is money. And I feel like when anyone spends time with you, it's irreplaceable. It's priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. You never get it back.
No, you never get it back. And I think that I like to integrate that with my daughter and my family. And I think when you get to understand someone more, when you can understand their love language.
That's interesting. My boyfriend and I were just talking about that the other day, and he's like, I think I've been getting it wrong. Like your love language is acts of services. I'm like, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm like, it makes me feel supported.
Yeah. Yeah.
And quality time and gift giving, but little things like when he gets me like a little bracelet from Japan, I'm like, I love it. Like I always have it.
Yeah. And so anyone who's watching this and doesn't know what 5 love languages are, there's acts of services, there is quality time, there is words of affirmation, there is touch, and then there is what am I missing?
Acts of services, gift giving.
Gifts, yeah. And gifts.
Yeah.
Again, gifts can mean anything. They can mean like, you know, a handwritten letter, a card, whatever it may be. And then it could be extravagant. Some people probably need that. For me, I think also too, my dad used to always say, oh, you know, I'm going to get you. He would come whenever he's always working, he would come and bring us gifts. And again, it just stems back from people's childhood. And I think you learn a lot about people when you learn their love languages. So it's just an all-time favorite for me. That's the first thing I could think of right now.
If anything else comes to mind, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of books that I love. I love, The Alchemist is a good book. That's a good staple to have. I mean, I'm a self-help junkie. I love all these books. So I definitely will add a list of books maybe after this interview of books that I recommend that I have in my profile on my iTunes account.
So I have another one that kind of, this one molds in. So who would you say is your biggest inspiration or role model, and how do you apply that to your life, you know, with your daughter?
So, yeah, that's a great question. Moms in general. Women inspire me every day, and all walks of paths, like all walks of path, all paths of, I'm like dyslexic. We all have different walks in life, and I think that it really inspires me hearing other women's journeys and how they get to where they're at, or and it doesn't even mean success, it just means how they're managing it, because when you're a mom, it is tough to even like hear yourself think. And so I just get inspired by other women who are just doing it all, and just and I think that there's no one can do it all without a team. So let me quote unquote say that again. No one can do it without a team. You can do so much, but as a mom, you just have to. It's okay to ask for help, and I think that there's this like huge like taboo and like asking for help, and I don't think that's like a bad thing. Like everybody's like, oh, you need to do your own thing. You don't have your own thing. Oh, you need to do this, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, but it's okay to like say, hey, mom, can you help me with this? I have this interview right now. Once my daughter walks by, absolutely, honey. You know, so it's little things like that, because it is hard. And there's actually women who do it all and they don't get any help. And man, those are the women I tip my hat off to, because I can't do without help. There's no way. It's just so hard. And I'm okay with that. I don't feel like I'm weak or but again, I can only speak for myself. So yeah, I think that women and mothers are just an inspiration to me.
I love that. You're so, you know, big on women and being a mom, because that's just so important, you know? How do you like, what's something that you really try to, I feel like you've answered this, but to try to be like a really great role model for your daughter?
No, for me, it's just really staying true to myself. And when I say that, it sounds so cliche, but when you don't feel like you're lying and you show up and you're just like, it doesn't feel awkward, or you're like, oh, this, okay, I guess I could, then you're not honoring yourself. You're just like you're getting swayed a different direction. And I think for me, it's important, as much as I wanted my daughter to do all these amazing sports, she really wasn't feeling it. And she really found her sport after 10 years. I really put her in everything, and she would not commit to anything. And after 10 years, she's like, I want to be a cheerleader. And I'm like, okay, that's where you're going to be. That's it. And she's like, I want to go to gymnastics. So she wants to be the best at it. And I'm like, okay. So it's important to me that I honor that, because as a mom, there's a lot of people who grow up to being someone that they're not wanting to be. Whether it's successful or not, they just kind of like don't feel complete. And I think it's really important that it's not about money. It's about your energy levels and feeling like yourself. Yeah. And so when you wake up in a day, it's important that you're waking up with a purpose. And it's more than just like a job, because my job, even though I'm getting paid to help people get in fitness and in shape, you know, there's something that I'm sharing that is going to change someone's life that can triple effect to something that I don't even may know. Yeah. And so I think that it's important that we all have a purpose on this planet, and to kind of remember that and kind of listen and just kind of be true to who you are. And that's important to me. So to my daughter, that as much as like I've done some crazy stuff, and I talk to my daughter like a big girl, and I say, you know, this is what mommy's feeling, and this is why mommy's doing what she wants to do, because when you get older, I want you to emulate that, and I want you to understand that there's some things that we just are not cool, and there's some things that are cool, and I just really talk to her like raw like that. And it may not be perfect, but I think that it's important that she knows that women don't have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to have it all together, and we don't have to hide all the time. Because I think sometimes as mothers, we try to hide and make everything sound and look amazing for our kids when we're crumbling inside. And I think that for me, I want her to know that this is life. So that's, to me, is me trying to be a good role model to her.
It's beautifully said.
Thank you. It's hard. It really is. There's some stuff that like I don't want to tell her, and I'm just like, oh, but she always knows mommy's always honest with her. And so I'm like, has mommy ever lied to you? She's like, nope. And she knows it. So I think that's going to help her in the long run.
Mm-hmm. So what's next? Like what?
Dun, dun, dun.
What's next? The fit girl.
Yay. Let's get to the fun stuff. So
I keep calling you Shady. It's like,
it's okay. It's totally fine.
I like that.
Shady. I have a fitgirl.com, which is, it's still in motion, but I had been working on another website because I've been getting just people wanting to more of me instead of just the articles and like the insight I have, and this great idea that I kind of have to honor what people are asking and requesting. And so I created chadyfit.com, and it should be launching pretty soon. This will be my first website ever. And I will have a ebook launching, and I will be just going from there. I'm going to be doing some more camps, stuff that I've done in the past that I've done really well, because I really love interacting with the fans and just people who follow me, and I just love interacting with just women in general, and just meeting them physically and so on. And so I want to do that and do more events and just kind of align myself with just that space again. So be on the lookout for that, and just stay tuned with my social media outlets. So I'll be projecting all like my projects on that. And yeah, and I'm going to be certified holistic nutritionist in a couple weeks. I'll be certified. I'm doing an online course with Nutritious Life, and I'm just loving that course. And I just feel like I needed a break for like a couple of years. I got engaged, and I was just transitioning life, and again, being a mom and doing all that stuff. I really need to put my fitness life on hold for a little bit, and kind of just rebrand myself, and kind of to see why am I doing this and what's my purpose, instead of following the herd of like what everybody's doing. And so for me, I kind of need to sit, you know what, I'm not going to listen to see what everybody's doing. Let me kind of see what I want to do, and what my followers want from me, and just kind of go from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
But the Fit Girl is still in motion as well.
Yeah. The Fit Girl is still in motion. I have a blog that's coming up from a couple of the mentees that I've worked with that are going to be sharing their journey with me, working with them, as besides fitness, just emotional, like, stuff that I work on them with, and they're going to be kind of showcasing it all and kind of being really raw and transparent as far as like what they're going through and what they what just the average woman goes through, and everybody gets to see that, and kind of hopefully their story will inspire someone else to kind of move that direction, as far as like just knowing you're enough. And it's just more than just physical. It's so much. It's the Fit Girl to me is someone who's mind, body, soul fit, and it's not just stage fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else, any other tidbits that you want to share before we conclude?
No, man, that's just all I'm all about, man. I need to definitely get back on social media more. Would love some more insight on just like what the followers are wanting more from me. But it is just like a feeding machine, social media world. It's content. We have to feed it.
Yeah.
And so it's just, as much as you want your life private, I think there's no such thing. Everybody wants it all up on a platform. And so I definitely need to kind of share my story more. I definitely need to keep everybody in the loop as far as like my transitions and kind of even me falling off and using my own blueprint to remind myself of like what's important and what we need to remind ourselves as women on how to move forward in life. And so I'm just going through my own blueprint right now, writing my to-do list. I am. I got to make one tonight, as a matter of fact.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think that this was great. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Your wealth of knowledge and your tips and your life story and everything you're about, and honesty and showing up and just the blueprint. Like, I love it. Like, I'm hearing so many common themes. But thank you so much.
Thank you for also like sharing, having me share this, because I think it's important that we all just remember that we're all in the same journey and no one's better. No one, titles are just, at the end of the day, we all go to the same place. And
we're all human.
We're all human. Absolutely. We're all women. So we're all powerful, and remind myself that I'm like, you are amazing, Svetlana. It's stuff that we have to remind ourselves. We are capable, you're powerful, so on. So for me, it's just showing up and reminding ourselves what we're capable of.
Don't forget to use your discount code at foursigmatic.com. You can type in your code at checkout. All caps, bold and vulnerable. Thank you for listening to the Bold and Vulnerable podcast. For more information on today's speaker, please visit us at boldandvulnerablepodcast.com.
And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Let's keep spreading the love by being bold and vulnerable. Thank you. We love you.